Hi everyone, today I'm here sadly to talk about Copa America's final where Argentina beat Brazil by 1-0 Di Maria's goal. And as I was expecting and as I said in the previous video, we didn't have a really busy game. We didn't have a game with a lot of chances. Besides, we had 13 shots from Brazil against 6 to Argentina. We only have 2 against 2 on target, so it was 1 shot on target per half for each one of the teams. So it was not a game where we had a lot of emotion. It was not really dangerous, the chance that were created. So we didn't have this kind of emotion. Of course, everyone was excited about this game because we had a Brazil-Argentina in a final. We had Neymar facing Messi, but the game wasn't so great. Besides that, we also have the two main problems in this Copa America. That was the field not helping, not a good field again, and also the refs always stopping too much the game and not leaving the game flows really good. So besides that, let's talk a little bit about both teams. We have technically we couldn't watch a really interesting game, but we had in Argentina's midfield with Paul in the mid, and we also had Di Maria making both of them a really good match, a really interesting match. And Messi wasn't what we expect about Messi. Messi didn't play a really great match. And funny thing that he never did it in a final with Argentina's jersey. It's his 5th final, and he never scored or gave an assistance in any of those games. So it's a funny fact because we are used to see he doing it with Barcelona jersey always in the final. He is great. He gets bigger in a final. About Brazil, we had Neymar playing really good. Neymar had a really good game, but once again he was always being fouled. Everyone is always tackling Neymar and switching who's gonna do it. So it was hard for him again. He was trying hard. He tried really much, always looking for the ball, always searching for an opportunity to create a good chance for Brazil. But it was really hard because he was fouled. He was fouled 5 times in the game, so it was not easy. So the game was good was not that good for who loves soccer because it wasn't so interesting, but it was good for Argentina, who takes this pressure out of them, out of Messi. They were 28 years without a title, without winning any trophy, and now that they won Copa America, I guess it can be really good for Messi, it can be really good for Argentina for next year World Cup. I guess next year they probably gonna get in the World Cup with less pressure, and it can be good for Messi to make a good World Cup. In Brazil sides, what I expect about Brazil for the future. I still think Brazil is probably one of the top 5 in the world if we think about winning a World Cup. Even if you don't like too much how Brazil is playing, Brazil is really competitive. Brazil is really hard to get to score in Brazil. Brazilian defense is really good, and Brazil has a lot of possession all the time. Brazil has a great defensive transition that's always stealing the ball a lot from the other team, so it makes really hard to score in Brazil. And so I still think Brazil can be at least one of the semifinals in next year World Cup, but Brazil has some points that we need to develop. We need to change a few things. Um, Besides all of those things, it was a interesting match having Brazil facing Argentina in a final, because what people always talk about Brazilian matches, is that we don't face huge games during the qualifying for World Cup, during those 3 years before the World Cup. We are always playing a qualifying that is technically less interesting than European. I don't agree too much with that, because the European qualifying, you'd only have like two teams in the group. But in Europe, you play the Euro Cup and also the Nations League. Then they can face each other more common. In Brazil here, we only had in those last years this game, Brazil Argentina in a final. It was a really huge game if you think about testing the team for the World Cup. And we saw what was wrong. We could see what we have to do, what we have to change if we want to win next year World Cup. So, of course, it was really bad losing a final in Maracana against Argentina, our biggest rival. But seeing in an optimist way, we could face, we could see what to change, what was not right, and I guess Titi will make those change in the next games. So what we have right now is just being optimist that Brazil will keep evolving, will keep developing for the next games. We're gonna have Olympic Games in a few days, in a few weeks. I will be here talking to you about Olympics. Of course, it's a totally different team. It's not the same team. It's not the same coach, and it's gonna be really different. But we'll be here talking more and more about Brazil soccer. All right. So see you guys. Bye bye.